from Doggy U, and I'm here today with my good friend Stef Corbeil from Tao Dog Yoga and her wonderful German Shepherd dog, Tao. And today we're going to be going over the top 3 most important yoga poses for you and your dog. We're going to start with a yoga practice for you to get into a calm mind space, and then we're going to do the same with your dog. It's going to be really, really fun. So grab your yoga mat and let's get started.
Welcome to our Tao Dog practice. For our practice, you'll want to have a small, quiet space for you and your dog. You'll want to have some of your dog's kibble or some very small treats for when we go through our poses with our dogs. A yoga mat for yourself, and also a really nice comfy spot for your dog to relax beside you. Let's get started. Come to your comfortable seat on your yoga mat. Allow yourself to move around a little bit here so that you're really comfortable. And then sit up a little bit taller. Yeah, let your shoulders drop down. You can even lift your chin a little bit, opening up the whole front of your chest and your throat, making so much room for your breath here. And then start to notice your breath as you arrive in this space. We'll begin by breathing in and out nice and slow to signal to our dogs that we're moving into this calming practice with them before we dive into the 3 poses for us and our dogs that are most important in dog yoga. Take a deep breath in, let yourself lift up nice and tall, and then as you exhale, soften. Yeah, let everything soften, relax. Let's do that again. Breathe in, lifting up, feeling your breath help you to grow taller in your spine. Now keep that length in your spine and exhale out completely. Good. This time, gently close your mouth. You'll breathe in and out through your nose. Breathing in, lift, lengthen, and exhale completely. And as you begin to settle into your practice, noticing any shifts in your dog, noticing if they're starting to relax with you, or maybe your dog is wondering what you're doing and they're coming over to you, giving you kisses, or maybe stepping on your yoga mat, you can just ask your dog to lay down while we start our yoga practice. Moving nice and slow, as we move slowly in our yoga practice, it signals to our dogs that they can remain calm. If we move really quickly, guess what? They're going to move quickly with us. So we're going to move nice and slow and go into our first pose together, child's pose. So moving, you can remind your dog even to stay if your dog knows that. In a Tao Dog practice, you really are training your dog while you're learning yoga. So you can use all of the skills that your dog already knows. So you can remind them to stay. Coming into child's pose, you can take your knees a little bit wider than hip distance and starting to sit back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward. You can reach forward and then just let the front of your body drop down. Good. Let your heart really melt down towards your mat. Let your head get heavy. And if your forehead reaches your mat, you can let it connect, allowing that support to happen there for your head and neck, allowing kind of the gravity of the front of your body to kind of do its thing here and do the work for you. Using your breath as you breathe in, feel the whole back of your body expand. And then as you exhale, see if you can soften a bit more. As we stay in our child's pose, walk your hands forward just a little bit more. You're going to feel a big stretch in your arms into your rib cage. So from here, see if you can drop your heart back down. Let your head get heavy. Good. And then another full round of breath in. And let it go. Good. And then shifting yourself forward into tabletop. Table will be our transition through our poses as we practice. Child's pose is really important for us in our yoga practice because it allows us a place to rest. Equally as important for our dogs, that even if they're active in their dog yoga, that they have a chance to rest too. Moving through table, we'll find downward facing dog, which is our second pose. That's really important for us in our yoga practice, but also for our dogs. Taking your hands out in front of you just a little bit, take your hands nice and wide and then press evenly into your hands, even shifting your weight forward just a little bit. Your gaze can be in between your hands, and then bring your awareness to your core. Draw your belly up and in, so that space just below your belly button. Give it a little scoop. There you go. Curl your toes under, and then you're just going to send your hips up nice and high. You can take a little movement here, maybe bending and straightening your legs, just starting to warm up your body a bit more. And then bringing your attention to your hands. Really press evenly into your hands to send your hips up even higher. Let your head and neck drop. Yeah, sometimes here we want to help ourselves a little bit with holding our head and neck. So you can even tuck your chin a little, feeling that stretch in your spine as well. Taking your heels a little bit closer to your mat. Maybe you have a little bend in your knees to support your hamstrings. One full round of breath here. Breathe in and out. Noticing how this feels in your body. The whole front half of your body is reaching down while the back half is lifting up. Lowering your knees will transition through table. Making our way next into our third pose, upward facing dog. So thinking about where our body just was, our front half was down, back half was lifted. We're going to reverse that. So really important in our practice to have our spine move both ways. You're engaging your core in the front and the back, which is super important in any yoga practice. Our up dog is going to do the reverse. We're going to lift our front half while our back half drops down. So taking your hands out in front of you, maybe 6 inches to 8 inches, and then using your hands again to support you, shifting your weight forward, and then drop your hips down towards your mat. Bring a little bend to your elbows, and then see if you can start to just lift your chin. Notice how as you lift your chin, your heart wants to reach forward. You get this beautiful extension in your spine. A little more bend to your elbows, draw them inward, drop your shoulders down, and maybe your gaze goes up. Let's take one full round of breath in and out. Pressing into your hands, engage your core. Allow that to lead you back to tabletop. And you can shift back for a moment into child's pose. Yeah, feeling that big stretch as you go back. One breath here, in and out. And then you can walk your hands in, finding your comfortable seat on your mat. So moving nice and slowly, noticing the changes in your body, noticing if you feel more relaxed, if maybe you are a little more present. And from this space, we will start to work with our dogs. So you can go ahead and grab a little handful of kibble or treats. Notice how your dog might respond. Tao's gonna perk up a little bit here because she really likes to work for food. Good. So noticing that little shift in your dog. I like to cover my treats because Tao likes to sneak some because she's very food motivated. So you can have your treats off to the side and invite your dog over to your mat. So if you're working with your dog, you want them on a non-slip surface. Just like us, we want them to have good traction so that they're safe in their bodies. And let's move through these 3 poses with our dogs. We'll start first in child's pose. So when working with your dog, you want to use a food lure. You can have one piece, let your dog get interested in it, and then you're just going to have them follow that piece of food, or you're going to lure them onto your mat, and then you can ask them for a down, but I'm still going to use a food lure with Tao so that she does it nice and slow and controlled. Good. I'm going to feed her that one piece here. So this will be a resting pose for your dog, right? They're going to work really hard on their up dog and down dog, but we want to make sure that they also are getting a rest in between. For their child's pose, what we did is we reached forward. We allowed our head to come down, and it really gave us this beautiful stretch in the back of our neck. Same thing for our dogs. So what we want to do is take one piece of food, bring it right down, and maybe it's just your dog's chin and nose start to touch, that extension forward. And then from there, I'm going to feed. So let's do that 3 times. So you can feed 3 pieces. Again, they're holding their child's pose in their down position. And you lower the food down so their neck goes down, and you can bring the food a little bit forward. Good. Let's do that one more time. Down and just slightly forward so that your dog is holding that down position and getting that extension in their neck. So that's child's pose for our dogs. We'll move into down dog next. Depending on your dog and the age of your dog may need some support here. For Tao, she is 11 years old, and I like to give her a lot of hand support when I'm practicing to make sure that she feels like I'm here for her, number 1. Number 2, it builds trust with us, and also that she can hold these poses and feel like she has good stability since she is a senior dog. So to lure our dogs into a stand or table pose, you're going to place a treat right on their nose. You can move next to your dog. And you can scoop one hand right under your dog's belly, right where their hips begin, to help encourage them to stand up. And then I'm gonna just feed Tao one piece. I'm gonna feed her a second piece. Good. And a third piece. She loves food so much, she wants all of them at once. Good girl. So just 3 pieces. Just teaching your dog table pose, and so that your hand is there for support. Now moving into our downward dog. And take 1 piece of food, put it on your dog's nose, and you're gonna lower the food straight down and then move it in between their paws. You're gonna see Tao shift back slightly. Again, the hand is here to support her so she doesn't go all the way into a down. Let's do that 2 more times. Food right on your dog's nose, go directly down, and then in between their paws so they shift their weight back. Your dog at this point might be coming down onto their elbows in the front and displaying a really big bow in their back, almost like a big dip in their spine, so that they're getting this really awesome stretch, depending on your dog. Again, Tao's a little bit older, so what I'm showing you is her full extension and her full expression of this pose. But if your dog's dropping onto their elbows and has this big stretch in their spine, you can absolutely tell them, yes, that's the right thing, and reward them for that, and helping your dog to find that. Okay, let's try it one more time. Lowering down, move the food inward. Your dog shifts their weight back. Notice Tao's front end is down, just like our down dog. Back end is up. Beautiful. All right, let's move into upward facing dog. I'm gonna have Tao sit for just a moment. In up dog, we're gonna move from our table. Up dog, we're gonna move from our table, supporting our dogs, and then we're gonna look for this beautiful extension in the front of their body. So as we start to move them into their up dog, we wanna lift the food up, and they're gonna open up. Tao's out of position. You can see she's looking at me, really excited for food. To free her up, this might be something helpful for you and your dog too. I'm just gonna toss a little piece of food away and tell her free. And then I'm gonna catch her with another piece of food, luring her back onto my mat, getting my hand underneath and just feeding her for that position there. And then we're gonna start, come back over here, good girl, with our up dog. So 1 piece of food on your dog's nose, move the food up, and then feed. Good. And you want your dog working for a few seconds to get that food so that they're kind of sustaining that stretch a little bit longer. Good. Last one, up. Good girl. So you can do that 3 times. Then move your dog back over to your mat, ask them to lay down, and that way they're coming back into a resting pose. So for your dog moving through this, I always like to start in child's pose in this sequence so that your dog knows this is kind of home base. Then we transition through table, down dog, we flow into up dog, and then end back in down with our dogs. You may notice your dog is panting a little bit. This is hard work for them, just like our yoga is hard work for us. It's a little bit of a workout. So thank you all for joining us. If you're interested in learning more about Tao Dog Yoga and different poses you can do with your dog, you can hop over to our channel and we'll see you there.
All right, everyone, thank you so much, Steph, for coming on. We really appreciate it. If you liked this video, make sure you head on down and boop that like button so Tao knows that you really enjoyed practicing Tao Dog Yoga with her. You all have an awesome day and happy training.